this Monday we're going to find out on Raw, so that will be interesting. Let's take a quick break because I want to end the show. I want to concentrate on Fastlane this weekend. We're going to go through each match. We're going to give you our predictions, and we're getting ready. We're on the fast lane.
We are on the fast lane.
To WrestleMania.
Quickly, before we go to break, also when we come back, there's one former WWE superstar that gave his input about the whole Titus O'Neil grabbing Vince McMahon on Raw. We'll briefly talk about that as well.
Yes, we will.
Here on Ringside Rumble Radio on the UCR Network.
Powered by Spreaker.com and free on iTunes.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Unified Championship Radio.
Ringside Rumble Radio, here on UCR Network, powered by Spreaker.com and free on iTunes. Remember to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/UCR Network. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We really need to start getting that Instagram up and running. Been a little lackadaisical, but don't worry. It'll be up there at UCR Network. And also, you can always hashtag any questions or comments. Make sure you use UCR Network or RRR. And before we went to break, I was talking to my good friend before even the show started. There was a former WWE superstar, actually former champion, who gave his little spiel about the whole Titus O'Neil incident with Vince McMahon on Raw 2 weeks ago. It resulted with O'Neil being suspended by the WWE originally for 90 days, then it went down to 60 days, and he was also fined $5,000. And that wrestler, superstar, champion, former champion, was none other than the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was on his podcast, and he briefly gave a little statement. I'll just briefly read it to you. Vince is 70 years old right now, and that was a serious moment for him. He was totally in character. He cares about Daniel Bryan. He gets jerked pretty forcibly over there to Titus O'Neil, and it was completely inappropriate. This may be pro wrestling, sports entertainment, whichever you want to call it, but that was a serious moment. It's not time to be shucking and jiving out there, so lay some type of punishment down. Fine him, this or that or whatever, I don't know. Something was appropriate, but when I started hearing the racism things, I was like, I've got to roll my eyes. I've got to call complete and utter bull in this one. If you're going to suspend somebody, I think 30 days should be okay. I think 60 days is a little overreacting. Did somebody need to happen? A come to Jesus meeting or a stern talking to backstage? Something needed to happen because I believe it was inappropriate. It was the wrong person at the wrong time, end quote. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Because Stone Cold said so. I wish he would have said something like that at the end.
He should have, but it didn't happen.
Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with the whole racism thing. I think it's totally was blown out of proportion. People are still talking about it. It was still trending the other day. Can you believe that?
The racist thing, I'm not even going to acknowledge it at this point. We already spoke about it last week. That's a ridiculous, a lazy comment to bring up.
Yes.
When you're lazy, that's something you bring up. Because their quite possibly, more than Austin, more than Hulk Hogan, internationally known movie, TV, wrestling, celebrity, superstar is African American and Samoan.
Yep.
That's all you need to know about The Rock
That's all
and
you
the
need to know.
WWE and Vince McMahon.
But maybe he went over the top. Okay, I guess
Well, I think the suspension is a little over the top.
maybe 30 days if you feel the need to suspend him. But we don't know what goes on backstage. We don't know any of the policy, so we can't really say or vouch. But from when we saw, we didn't even notice it until it was really brought up in conversation. So maybe if you just a fine, because this guy, he does tons of charity work. We've talked about that before. We even had the PSA on before when we went to our first break. So I just think it's a little ridiculous. I think people are blowing this way out of proportion. The fact that it's still trending is ridiculous beyond end.
I mean, he's getting publicity.
And hey, for all we know, this might be our next superstar in the main event. If the fans keep rallying around him when he comes back, you never know. This might be a good thing for him. But time will tell.
We'll see what happens. He probably won't be back until after WrestleMania anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. We got about 7.5 minutes left of the show. Let's get right into Fastlane. Start off with the Intercontinental Champion, Kevin Owens, taking on Dolph Ziggler. What do you think is going to happen in this match? I think Kevin Owens is going to come out victorious. He's going strong into WrestleMania. There's really no direction for Dolph Ziggler. There's really nothing you're probably going to be able to do with him except put him in maybe the Money in the Bank briefcase match at WrestleMania. So I think he's just going to take another loss here, and we'll see the continual evolution of Kevin Owens.
I would agree with you 110% on this one. I think Dolph Ziggler's train has passed, so to speak. He won the Money in the Bank a while back, and after that concussion, that kind of took a low blow to him, and I don't think the head company, they don't trust him anymore. They throw him in the main event if there's like more than one person that has to go on, but to have him one-on-one with a champion, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe, as we see this week, an Intercontinental title match, maybe a U.S. title match, but other than that, I do not see him winning, so I would agree with you 120%.
Divas Championship match, Charlotte taking on Brie Bella. Charlotte, to me, comes out victorious because you are going to set up Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania and have a true Divas Championship match.
See, I could see Brie winning this match because,
as a heart-to-heart for Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
I mean, that could happen.
And then maybe she would drop the title maybe on a Monday Night Raw.
See, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. You read my mind.
We're on
the
sync
same
over here.
page.
Maybe lose on a Monday Night Raw, maybe lose on a SmackDown if they want to make it interesting, get more viewers. So I could see that happening.
Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, speaking of those two ladies, will tag up and team against Naomi and Tamina. This might be a little surprising for you. I have Naomi and Tamina winning this fight with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch clashing to set up WrestleMania, baby.
Once again, we are on the same page. Wow. 3 for 3.
I'm just feeling it.
That's exactly what was going through my mind. You have them lose, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch start going at it, and then that sets up a triple threat feud for WrestleMania, which could be the way we're going. That might steal the show.
It might. It definitely might. This is a little surprising. The New Day don't have a match, but they are going to be on the Cutting Edge Peep Show with Edge and Christian. I guess they're promoting Edge and Christian. Of course, they're going to have their show coming up. I think it starts this Sunday, actually. I think it starts after Fastlane, if I'm for certain.
Okay.
But the New Day will be on this show. They're not going to have a match, but I do think we see the introduction of Enzo and Cass.
Oh, you think?
They need to start a feud with somebody. I mean, it's time. This really hurts them because the New Day are becoming so big and are so over, but they have nobody to fight.
No.
Most of the tag teams are in NXT.
Unless you have maybe an altercation, maybe the Dudleys make a guest appearance.
But it would be weird because the Dudleys are full-on heel right now.
Well, the New Day's so over now. Why not make them a little face or have them, like we said, in between? Like how the Wyatts, we say, should be. Maybe just do that with the New Day because they constantly put over fans and fans are constantly cheering New Day sucks, but they're still behind them and they still boom at the same time. So it could go either way.
United States Championship match, Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The winner, to me, goes on to a feud with possibly AJ Styles. That's what I think. And if I had to pick someone to face AJ Styles right off the bat, it would probably be Alberto Del Rio, just to give some credibility to this AJ Styles run.
See, I think if I'm booking it the right way, I think Kalisto and AJ Styles would make the better feud because
and make a better match, but
a better match, and it would be exciting, and people would get behind it. So if I were Vince McMahon or Triple H or the writers, I would have Kalisto win that match, and I feel that's the way to go.
We talked about this a little earlier. Ryback, Big Show, and Kane versus the Wyatt family. I mean, this has to be a no-brainer, right? The Wyatt family have to win this. I mean, if they lose, where do we go from there with the Wyatt family?
Well, they stood kind of tall on Raw, so I don't know.
We never know with the Wyatt family.
I know.
That's what it is.
So, you would hope that they win this match because Kane and the Big Show, and now you have Ryback. I'm going with the Wyatts, but for all we know, it could be a huge swerve, and we'll see that they'll job to Kane and the Big Show and Ryback. So, but I'm going with the Wyatts.
The big main event: Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, triple threat match for the #1 contendership to face Triple H at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. Man, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. If you're doing what's best for business and you're trying to sell me this WrestleMania, you do Triple H versus Brock Lesnar and have Roman Reigns start a feud with Dean Ambrose. That's the way to go for me.
That's the way for you, but if you want to get interesting and shake things up and have the fans not be so predictable, I have Dean Ambrose winning this match. I have some sort of outside interference so Brock Lesnar does not look weak. So maybe a steel chair comes into play, him getting knocked out, and then you're having Dean Ambrose screwing over Roman Reigns, setting up a possible feud with them down the line, but having him headline at WrestleMania. Or, for all we know, somebody in the mix could jump in last minute and it could be another triple threat match at WrestleMania. We don't know.
But what will really happen is Roman Reigns wins and we get Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and then people are still going to be booing once Roman Reigns comes down the ring to face Triple H for the heavyweight championship.
Anything's possible, but we'll those are our predictions. That's what we think is going to happen on Fastlane. Let us know what you think. What are your predictions for WWE Fastlane? I mean, hey, man, it's been a great show today.
Oh, it's been
a really great show.
Freaking-tastic.
We'll be back with you on Monday because we'll do the Fastlane post show.
Yes, sir.
We'll come back on Monday, talk Fastlane, what's going to happen on Raw, and we'll get into a whole lot more wrestling news. This has been Ringside Rumble Radio here on the UCR Network, powered by Spreaker.com, free on iTunes. You've been listening to Anthony the Ant-Man alongside Keith Logan the Loganator. Any last words, my friend?
Enjoy Fastlane as best as you can, everyone.
Enjoy Fastlane, guys. Have a good one. Take care.